Hi there guys, welcome back to Attack on Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy video series where I, Pete, try to complete every single Final Fantasy game using attack only. However, today we are going to see if we can complete Final Fantasy IV, the Pixel Remaster, using just summons. Now, if you're well versed in Final Fantasy IV, you will know that Rydia is the summoner of this game, and she spends a lot of the time out of the party. While she is in the party, I've got to use just her summons in battles. The other guys can defend, but that's the only actions they can take. There's no using items, it's just summons and defending. Whilst Rydia is out of the party though, anything goes. I can play the game normally just to make it swifter for myself. Also, in-game boosters are allowed because it cuts down the grind. This video has already taken so long to get up together, so I'm just going to jump straight into it. There are two things I had to get before we went to get Rydia, and these are two of the four droppable summons. Droppable summons are summons that are learned from enemies. They are fairly rare, and they only drop from certain enemies. The first is Goblin, which drops from goblins. They cast Goblin Punch, which attacks one enemy. This costs 1 MP per cast, and honestly, I didn't know just how much I would need this at the start of this run. The second is Cockatrice, which will petrify one enemy using an attack called Petrifying Beak. This costs 15 MP, and I doubt I'll ever use it, to be honest. When Rydia eventually joins the party, she has 10 MP and she can cast Chocobo, which costs 7 MP to cast. This uses Chocobo Kick, which is my most powerful attack and will be reserved for mainly bosses, or until we can gain some better summons. The first thing we do is grind Rydia up to level 22 before we take on the first boss. Going through the cave, I have to use Chocobo on some of the tiny mages, but that's no bothers. This first boss luckily doesn't hit too hard, and after taking out the tentacles it goes down. The next boss is the Antlion. This pincer guy. Rydia is level 24 by the time we get here, and it only takes a few rounds of Chocobo to take it out. Rydia is already level 25 when we take on the next boss, Mom Bomb. I start this fight thinking maybe Goblin could handle the first part, but after 2 attacks it clearly isn't doing enough damage, so I fall back on Chocobo once again. And that's the last boss before we lose Rydia for a little bit. So the game continues without Rydia, and then after a little while, she saves our necks from Golbez and rejoins the team forever. She's come back with a few new summons. These are Shiva, which casts Diamond Dust, Ramuh, which casts Bolt of Judgment, Ifrit, which casts Hellfire, Titan, which casts Gaia's Wrath, and Mist Dragon, which casts Mist Breath. This deals damage based on Rydia's HP to one enemy. Although this isn't true. In the description it says that it's one enemy, but it is in fact all enemies. I use the Mist Dragon for every random encounter as I make my way up to the next boss. This boss takes an age to go down, and it wasn't until Brazar in the chat pointed out that I shouldn't attack when his cloak's around him because he will heal himself with Blizzard, but when his cloak's open then he doesn't heal himself. That, it was too late by then. I was already knee deep in it, and auto battle was on, and I was just plugging away. I in fact went for a wee whilst this was happening. After getting an upgrade to the Falcon airship and the key to the Seal Cave, we can go round and collect a couple more summons for Rydia. This is where the trouble starts. First, we have to take on Isiora. Isiora has a random chance to heal herself, which she does a few times on my first attempt, and I eventually run out of MP. The second attempt I get unlucky again due to her curing herself seemingly every turn. This completely reversed the damage I have done. Once again I run out of MP and have to try again. Before the third attempt I check out the Bestiary for Isiora. She has 31,005 HP. My Titan does an average of 3,000 damage. I can cast Titan 10 times with my current MP pool, so it all boils down to getting lucky with the damage and hoping she doesn't heal. The third time I try Isiora, she does 2 cures in a row, so I knew this wasn't going to be the one. I go back to grinding with Rydia, which is absolutely crazy because she's already in her 50s, and in a normal playthrough, this would be strong enough to take on the endgame. At level 55, I tried taking Asura on one more time, but it just isn't happening. So I decided to carry on with the game. And in the very next dungeon, I managed to softlock myself. At the end of this dungeon, you get to the Crystal Room, and then when you exit the Crystal Room, you have to fight a Demon Wall. Now, Rydia isn't strong enough to take out the Demon Wall before the Demon Wall gets to us and starts casting Crush. Because the game autosaves whenever you enter a new screen, this royally fudged me over. There's no way to grind in this little area. There's no enemies in the Crystal Room, and when you exit Crystal Room on the other side, there's no enemies in the little bit. You can't get into any random encounters before the next boss fight, which is the Demon Wall. So I just had to pray to RNG that I could just take it down before it got to us and killed Rydia off, which happened a bunch of times. I nearly called the run here. I nearly thought, I'm never going to kill this thing. I'm just going to release a video and say it's not doable. I don't want to do this again. But eventually we did take it down. And of course, I didn't learn any lessons from this. I didn't do any hard saves when I got out of that area, back onto the world map. No, I went to the moon. Then getting back from the moon, you get thrust straight into the next dungeon and there's no way to get out. At the end of this dungeon, there's a boss rush with the 4 elemental fiends. I cannot take on this boss rush. Rydia is not strong enough to do this boss rush. So what I try is I grind her up to level 99. But I still cannot get past the 3rd fight. That means I have to begin this whole run again. This time I'm going to make sure to pick up the optional summons before going to the moon. Brilliant. I restart the run, I get all the way to the Tower of Babel and I fight some bombs. These bombs can drop the summon Bomb. But this summon is useless compared to the Mist Dragon. It does a single attack based on Rydia's HP to a single enemy. We make it back to the Land of Summons and I'm staying here until I can defeat Asura and Leviathan. Without killing Asura, you can't kill Leviathan. Without Leviathan, Odin and Bahamut will not join your team, and I need these guys for those final bosses. In one of the fights against Asura, I learn that the summons actually have differing cast times. My fastest actually seems to be that bomb summon I've just picked up, so I set it up and I hope for the best, and eventually Asura falls. Next up is Leviathan. This doesn't go well at all, so I go and grind a few levels and keep coming back. I get to level 70 and I still can't beat Leviathan. So I could grind up to level 99 and try again, but even at level 99, Rydia's health will only be around 6,000, and that's only enough health to take on a couple of tidal waves, not to mention the Blizzaras. So this is where I'm going to call the run. I tried twice and failed twice. You cannot beat Final Fantasy IV, well I say you, I cannot, you might be able to, beat Final Fantasy IV using just summons. Man, these 4 runs are not going well at all. The attack only one was fine, but the magic only was dead in the water. This one completely just cannot do. If they had an item that absorbed water damage, then it could have been done, I reckon. I think if I could get a Leviathan behind me, I could grab Bahamut, and Bahamut would probably annihilate everything in my path. But thanks for joining me. Let me know in the comments who your favourite summon is. That would be pretty cool to know. And until the next video, I will see you next time. Give me a like and all the good stuff if you're willing to. If not, that's cool. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you soon, guys. Ta-da!